So I was walking through Radar Toys the other day, and I'd never been in before. I was just about finished, and I almost tripped over this big box. And I look down and I see Batman the Animated Series. And I'm thinking, what is this monstrosity? And I kneel down and I see the Batwing. And I'm thinking, one, I didn't know this existed. And two, how fucking big is this thing? And so I carefully look behind it, tip it upward. And I'm going, I think that's actual size. Holy shit. And if you're anything like me, I grew up on the Burton movies and the animated series, and so this is like the holy grail. I hadn't seen this series at all. It's straight from DC. DC Direct or DC Collectibles, whatever you want to call them these days. And I asked the guy at the store, how much is this thing? Because I figured it'd be $300 or $400. And he told me a much more reasonable number. Maybe not reasonable for a toy, but you know, for us collectors, we might make some exceptions now and again. It's a lot less than I expected. And I said to him, well, I think I just found my next idiotic purchase. I'm opening this with a nail because I just moved a couple posters to make room to mount this on the wall. All right. It's fucking huge. It's a two-man job. I'm going to use the box for a table here. Try to make it sturdy. Okay, all right, where do we begin here? Coincidentally, I'd been rewatching a lot of the animated series lately. I recently saw the movie Vertigo for the first time a few months back, Alfred Hitchcock, and they were doing some anniversary screening and a friend invited me to go, and when I was watching it I was struck by how some of the music reminded me of Danny Elfman's Batman score. And then, if you've ever seen it, there's some integral scenes surrounding a clock tower, or not a clock tower, but a big church tower with the cathedral bell, and it reminded me a lot of the final sequence in Batman. And I looked up some interviews and saw that that was actually a big influence on Elfman, that movie. So yesterday, I'm watching the animated series. Seen an episode I hadn't watched in a long time, where the villain is this guy named Vertigo, and he has this power to give his enemies the sensation of vertigo. And bam. I had a little one of these when I was a kid. It was probably, I don't know, maybe 1 foot or so long. the Burton version. And man, this is gonna blow that out of the water. So Vertigo is the villain in this story. He's kind of a secondary villain. And I didn't really make the correlation. But then, towards the end of the episode, they go to this location that resembles the church. And it has a big old tower. And there's a confrontation in the bell tower. And there's a whole bunch of those bells. And spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Vertigo, one of these characters goes flying out the window of the tower, much like the woman in Vertigo. Sorry, they're half. And I love it, just the simplicity of these. It's got really just very minimal, clean lines like the original drawings. And so I thought that was kind of neat, since Vertigo had been an influence on the film, something I recently discovered about my favorite movie, and that the animated series actually paid a more direct homage to that with that episode in multiple ways. I mean, you've got the big bells like the end of Batman, and as I said, not only the name of the guy, but the location looks identical. Look at this. Oh man, that is sweet. Just pops right into place. Yep. I already got a cat hair. Look at that beast. I don't know how well you can see that from the angle. All right. Now, it says there is some landing gear down here. Let's find it. Here's a wheel. There we go. Just a little compartment there. And we have wheels. Now, see, it's a little bit. The wheelbase just bigger than the box? Yes, it is. Okay. We've got another little compartment here where the claw comes out. I always liked that on the Toy Biz one that I had in the 90s. It had the little claw. You held the Batwing with a trigger and handle, so you could take out the claw. Let's see, let me bring this a little bit closer here. So here is our claw friend. Comes out a little askew, but there it is. Cinch that up and just pop it right back in. Oops. There we go. Up here, this will just slide on open. We've got the cockpit here. From what I understand, it's got a second seat available. This thing pops, yeah, right there. Pops right off. So if you want to put your figures in, you've got the option for Batman and Robin. There we go. The motherfucking Batwing.